Hey there, Jamie here from Dig It Homesteading, and I figured I'd bring you along because this bed has been a little bit of a journey with fire ants. So what I've tried so far is DE, and that was a fail because it rained right after I put it out. Unexpected quick shower that just messed it up for me, and then I went back to something I've tried that worked before. That was cinnamon, kitchen cinnamon, cheapest you can find, and ground black pepper, as well, cheapest as you can find, and I sprinkled that everywhere, and that's been the only thing that's helped whenever they invaded my front bed. But that wasn't working for these, so we went to trial number 3, which was boiling water, and I have been boiling water and putting it out here the majority, off and on throughout the day, as you can see where it's wet and where it's not. But I still have some of those little booties right there, so I've got some more water going, but I'm gonna try to set you up and quickly get these planted out, because as you see, they're starting to suffer because I need to either water them now or get them planted. And let's do this. Okay, so what I've got here is my freezer bag that we keep all our spare eggshells in, and every time we crack them, we just crush them and throw them in here, and we either feed them back to the chickens or use them for things like this. I'm gonna dig a hole and put some of this in it. I know a lot of people use a whole egg, and I've seen different people test that out, and they dig it up and it's still a whole egg at the end of the season. So if you're one of those people, please let me know in the comments how it works and if you've dug it up. But otherwise, I'm gonna just put this in it, and you might be able to see this one's got some blooms on it. I'm gonna take them blooms off because we're going to transplant this, and we need it to worry about its root system before it blooms, because that's much more important right now. And I'm going to dig pretty far down, because as you may know, you can bury them all the way up here and it will still root out all along here. I'll try to get a close-up for you. You can see right here there's some roots trying to come out the stem. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to bury it probably about this deep, and so only this top part, and we'll take off these little bottom leaves and just leave that. So I'm gonna bury it probably up to here, and you can bend them if you need to, or you can also lay them down like that for a few days, and then they will start to grow up if you're not able to dig that far, and then you can plant it in there sideways like this, and that's fine too. So any way you prefer. And I have not done a whole lot of the egg in here, usually because I forget. But I remembered today, so we're going to try it today. And like I said, these are frozen. So we're just going to put that down in there. Crush it up a little bit too. You don't have to be too gentle with these. Let's see, this is ready to be transplanted. And then just fill it up to where you want. And I didn't go quite as deep as I wanted to on that, but it'll be fine. And I'm going to just do the same thing all the way through. And this is a cattle panel, and I'm doing every second vertical post. And I did that last year, and it worked really well for spacing. But you do have to watch it, especially in my area, because we're very humid here. Don't need that. We're very humid here, and tomatoes will get blight if they don't have enough circulation. Alright, let's see. And this one was rooted by someone else, and that should be just fine. Okay, so you might see with that one that I just did, you don't want your tomato leaves to be on the ground, and so I set that mostly on the fence because they can get blight and diseases that way as well. So I will watch it, and it'll probably be the first one I remove anyway, and we're just going to repeat that same process all the way down. And I'll bring you in a little closer. And so far, this has been my favoriteest ever garden tool. I usually use my hands. I like the feeling of the soil on my hands, but I do have to clean out my nails quite often. But I do bring this and try to stay clean, but that usually doesn't happen. The same thing. You want to look at it, see how far you want to plant it. I'm thinking about here. Dig your hole. You can set your pot in there to see if you're about right. That's good enough. And I do still see a few fire ants, but there's nothing like there was, so I am going to have to monitor that. Maybe I need to order some bulk cinnamon so they go away. But just like that, you just bury it up, and as this grows up, this cattle panel, I will secure it with some jute and loosely, you know, leave it where the plant can go back and forth so you don't saw your plant with the wind swaying your plant. And planting this closely, you have to be particular about how you prune your tomatoes as well. You don't want them overlapping too much, but you also don't want to deplete your harvest, so it's a fine balance. And I know a lot of people remove the suckers from all their tomato plants, but I find removing the suckers from determinate tomatoes to dramatically reduce your harvest. So I only take suckers off of indeterminate. Alright, I'm going to set up shop and continue down here, and I'll take you along. Maybe do a little bit of fast forwarding so you can see how quickly I work. See you in a sec. Okay, so I am not going to plant that spot because I need to throw some more boiling water there. There's quite a few ants crawling around. And I'm going to go check on that now. And I'm sure... You have the best timing, dude. I'm sure doing this kills off some of the nutrients in there. But I have got to get these gone and get this planted, and I can add more nutrients later. If you haven't met him, this is Leo. Leo! He's our Easter egger rooster. And he's quite lovely, but he is going through a maturity spout where he thinks he's trying to be the boss of us, so we're working on those type of things so he knows we're the boss as well. And maybe I'll share a video about that. Back to back to gardening. So I'm going to go ahead and skip that spot, and I'm going to start on these. And I think I will go ahead with... I'm going to skip that little basil that's going to go between that tomato and that tomato until that area cools off. And we'll just see what we got going on around here. I hear you, man. And this one isn't near as tall. But you can see it needs to be sorted out. So I'll probably go up to about here on this one. And it's an early girl. I was given some seeds, so I'm going to try it out. I've never grown that before. This is a Pasilla Bajío hot pepper. I've never grown it before, and I'm not going to put it too much deeper than it is now. And I'm not going to put any eggshells in it either. Ooh wee, they're dry too. This is a big rainbow tomato, and this is new to me as well, a new variety. And oh Lord, we got some more ants there. I'm gonna go get some more hot water. Okay, so hot water, well, the regular temperature water is coming to a boil, and while I do that, I'll do the same thing and skip that little Genovese basil and then try out this, and this is San Marzano. Both of these are San Marzano, and I've grown those before. And they are excellent, excellent tomatoes. And I'm trying to get more out of them this year than I had before. But I don't think my germination did so well. And this is just a little bitty one. So we're not going to bury it too deep. And thankfully there's not too many ants going on around here. And just as life, sometimes in gardening you come across things that you weren't expecting. And you just work on the problem and get past it and don't let it stop you. Because those fire ants are called fire ants for a reason. But I'm determined to keep finishing. Let's see. Oh, nope, there too. So at least going through here doing this is giving me an idea of where I need more boiling water. Alright, this next one here is a bell pepper. Sorry, I hear cracking in my woods. I don't know what that was. It's just a regular bell pepper I got at a plant trade. So somebody else put in their hard work for this plant so that I don't have to. And again, there's quite a few ants. This is Jersey Devil. There's actually 3 growing in there, so I want to take the biggest one out and then I'll up pot those 2 in case I have any failures. And if I don't, then they can be either planted somewhere else in the yard and have the odds forever be in their favor, or if I know somebody who needs them, I will give them to them. So same thing, we're going to see if there's ants, because this is getting pretty close to where I last poured that boiling water. Okay, I think we're pretty good. Now this is going to be a little bit of a pain because I do want to preserve these 2. But this one is ready. I'm going to just rip it apart. Trying to keep all the... And as you see, you don't have to be that careful. But I do want to go ahead and up pot these as soon as I'm done here, so they can have some fresh soil to their own. I'm going to just nip off a couple of these leaves that are getting close to the top. And let me know in the comments if you've grown any of these, and if you have, what your favorite is. Or if there's other recommendations, if you live in a hot, humid area, especially, because I ain't gonna lie, it gets hotter than a, well, you fill in that blank, but it gets hot and humid and nasty here. And I just have some Malabar spinach, red. See how the stems are red? This red Malabar spinach, and I am going to dot it in just a couple of places and see if it works as some sort of shade, and see if I can train it to grow where I want it to on this tomato trellis, but yet still allow for airflow for the tomatoes. And then I have Marigold Crackerjack variety that I will stick in a couple of places as well. But it's time for me to go and check on that boiling water, because I have 1, 2, 3, 4 more places that need it. Alright, so I don't know if you can see, but the ground is steaming. I just poured another tea kettle full of boiling water, and I still have 2 more spots that need done. Plus these 2 need to cool off. The one I did earlier looks like it's pretty cool, because you don't want to cook your roots. So do not plant after you have just poured boiling water. Alright, I'm going to test out this soil and see if it's at least body temperature. I mean, it can be warm, you just don't want it scalding. Dadgummit, there's a whole bunch of them over there. Here looks okay, but I'm worried about splashing up on my tomato plant. So I guess I'm gonna wait. But in the meantime, you can take the parts that you pull off of your tomato plant, stick it in water, how that other one I had was in a jar or a smaller thing, root them out, transplant them out as well. Alright, fingers crossed and perseverance. Maybe we can get this finished today because we don't have that much light left and it's almost time to cook. And I'm making shrimp tacos and chicken tacos for the people that don't eat fishy things. I might make a video. Let me know what you're cooking tonight. Okay, the boiling water still seems to be working. So there's a bunch of them just kind of scattered, don't know where they're going. I'm going to try to finish this up today. Hopefully by the time I get down at the other end, by the other end of the bed, that will be cooled off. And then if not, I will get out here in the morning. Yeah, it's not hot to the touch, so it should be fine for my roots. So hopefully, without too many ant bites, I can get this done. And even though the soil's a little damp, I'm still going to try to water them in a little bit, because all around the plant start is still dry. And I'm going to plant the Genovese basil like in a V shape here, so this can kind of bush out this way and not block off too much air circulation. I've never grown this before. I'm sure like many of you, I've seen it on Roots and Refuge, which I love watching them. And so we get to try it out this year. And I always plant my labels where the sun comes up from this way, where my labels don't lose what it says. So I face away from the sun. Alright, let's see how many more we can finish. Y'all, I don't even know if I remember to put eggshell in that last one. That's what's good about doing videos and documenting. Ooh, that still feels rather warm, and there's still quite a bit of ants walking around. So I might have to finish this in the morning. And I am going to go through on the other side and hand weed some of these things that are coming up. But let's err on the side of caution for today. So I'm just going to stop for tonight because the places I had to put boiling water in are still rather hot, and I'm losing light, and I'm hot, and I'm tired, and people are going to be hungry. So I'm going to clean up my mess and worry about this in the morning, and we'll try to finish up with you as well.